I think it's really tempting to look. I mean, a lot of the wisdom in here, I think it's you can still apply to ordinary life today. Um, you know, I mean, typical advice is like, oh, you should be yourself, right? You should be yourself. Don't be anyone else, right? Because everyone else is taken. And being, I don't know, like living to accordance to your authentic self. The advice given is that if you be yourself, if you are yourself, the people who are looking for you can find you. Whereas if you're not yourself, like you might trick people for the short term. You're not gonna be like that for the long term. You're not gonna be fully satisfied. So actually, following the same advice is that you might be being someone that you're not to please someone for external validation to gain something, right? Like the approval of someone, right? But that's not gonna make you happy because you're not living, I don't know, in accordance to your own rules and your integrity and what you actually want. And I think that's the conflict. But then I did reflect like how much is my actions is actually for external approval and validation. I'd say like certain things I do is definitely I reflected upon it, and probably 50%. Like it depends on what it is. Like the goal of like trying to get rich. How much of that is actually for external approval and validation, right? But also like, is it because I want to achieve? Is it because I want a better life? Is it because I just not experienced it? I have no idea what it feels like. But then Marcus Aurelius lived like 2,000 years ago. Like it's a different era. It's like how much of his wisdom actually applies to this day. It is something to consider, right? Like this is an emperor, like emperor of Rome, and he lived in a very different time period. But a lot of the human struggles that he had, I think I heard somewhere that apparently he had many children, like at least 13 children, and a lot of them died. He lived in an era of the plague, which I researched that apparently was something called smallpox. Apparently, we don't have smallpox anymore. It got wiped out in 1977 or something due to vaccines. It's one of the only diseases that we've been able to eradicate, but it's still in labs in America and Russia apparently for science purposes. So if it ever gets released by AI or whatever, that's not great. Because I don't think we really have vaccinations. I don't think everyone's vaccinated against it. But yeah, like he does have a lot of useful stuff in this book. Like nothing is worth pursuing. Okay, this is one chapter. Nothing's worth pursuing if it requires us to compromise our integrity. Actions that involve breaking faith, lying, or acting unjustly are unacceptable. This makes sense, right? Because you probably won't be satisfied with yourself. You're not proud of yourself if you're doing something that is is wrong. A person who prioritizes the rational mind and virtue, a lot of it is about having a rational mind. I think humans are not rational, but apparently a lot of his book and diary is written to calm himself down, because in the midst of like war or famine, I don't know, like the plague, I think he's using journaling as a way to make himself feel better. So pretty interesting.